What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the CLC Paint YouTube channel. We're gonna do the second half of this painting, mess around with some trees and some bushes and stuff, and do our middle ground and foreground. Just before we get started, I just added that painting back there to the Etsy shop, or actually clcoilpainting.com. It's available both places. Check it out in the description below. And let's go. I'm going to take the fan brush today. I did a mixture of Prussian blue, the sap green, a little bit of burnt umber up here, and just kind of mixed on, hoping we're going to get a dark color. I'm going to take a little bit of white though to start with. So we'll take some white, just a bit there. And then I'm going to mix it with the colors we've got going over here so I can do a lighter version of those colors. And then we can have that be our furthest background layer, because we want it to get darker as it comes closer. Darker as it comes closer. So see, I had mixed this half of this pile is lighter than that side. And we'll use that color to start with. A calmer version of our color. All right. Let's start maybe right there. We definitely are going to need more paint. We'll take some of that white. Maybe we can move this around so you can actually see kind of what's going on the palette there. So let's take some more of that white and mix it with some more of this color here. So we actually got a bit of a pile going. There we go. That'll be better than nothing. See? Right here. It's interesting trying to work the palette and keep the camera angle in mind. But see, I just kind of mix those up. It's not as light as I wanted it, but need some thickness of paint on the brush. This was far too thin. There we go. And I'm just doing up pushes. Let's get to the side here so I can show you. Touch and then bend it. Maybe that goes up over there. Who knows? There we go. Simple line. Anybody can do that. Now, we're just going to do slight lifts up. I'll get to the side so I can kind of show you. See that? You just barely pull it up an inch. It smears the top of this up to make it look like distant trees. So we'll start at the end here. Make sure you pull them straight up. If you go to the side, your trees are going to be growing all crazy. And if you actually got some thickness, wetness there, it'll smear good. If you have a dry canvas, which mine is starting to dry, won't work as good. I'm gonna get that thing off of there. Dry pieces of paint. And there's our background trees. I feel like I want a special one in there that's just like it's kind of bigger. Maybe he's got a buddy, a few of them or something. There, see, that kind of adds some intrigue. There we go. Far off trees. I feel like we need one more. Get carried away. Yeah, like over there. Perfect. All right. Now, since this brush has so little paint in it, I'm just going to pull the reflections down with the same brush. I'm going to wipe it off once on a paper towel, push harder, and pull a little harder. Now, depending how wet your canvas is, this will work differently. My canvas has been kind of sitting around the last day and a half, so we'll just see how it comes out. Interesting. I think I'm going to do a little dirt. Take the knife, and we'll take the burnt umber up here, or it's dark sienna, either one. Burnt umber, dark sienna, just get a little roll on the knife there. See that? Perfect. And we'll make a little land layer. Just kind of rub it in there. Or maybe tap it on. The thing to be careful with here is when it gets spread out on the knife, it makes larger. When you push, it could put something in there if it's that big on the knife. So make sure you just have a small area of your dirt, unless you want large blobs coming off. So you can flatten it on the palette, wipe off your knife, and then reload the little line. And yeah, now we'll grab a tiny bit of white. Same thing. Just touch. What's going to happen is the brown will mix with the white on the knife here, and it will create a beautiful highlight for our dirt back here. We get kind of a blend of the colors. Think about angle. See, I have these dirts over here going this way, and these ones going that way. If it gets too bright, just keep touching it. And we got some liquid white here on the palette. Oh, that's perfect. You can see that. See how I cut through it? And then it loads the edge of the blade, just barely. So you don't get huge blobs of liquid white in there where you don't want it to be. I'm going to cut in a little water line here. And the knife's going to get some brown on it, so I'll wipe that off every time. Let me show you this. Just cut right across. And then you kind of lean the knife up so the paint that's on the top of it gets pressed against the canvas. That makes sense. Hopefully it does. Edutainment. Education, entertainment. Then you do some water lines like so. Might wipe it off just because of the brown. Get some more white. Start at this end. And where you put these water lines decides, where your land lives. So if you want your land to be a little further back, right there, you do the water lines just a centimeter higher. Centimeter higher. Be careful with these. You can get carried away and accidentally make a mess. I like that. That's nice. I think I'll do just a couple ripples out here in the water. The more practice, the better. I'm telling you. Not something difficult. It just takes the patience and the practice. Yeah, that's cool. Now, we're going to get more of that color, but it's going to be a bit darker this time. I have a feeling I'm going to need to reload again, so I'm pulling each side through to kind of give a sharp brush. Sharp brush, and then I think we'll have a couple land areas, like one here. You can see straight, brush straight, tap it on there, and then flip it to the side, so that way you're using the corner. Like the corner goes against it. It'll bend down. Ooh, that's a messy tree already. This brush is really messy. It doesn't have the shape it used to. All right, just gotta go with what it gives you. Resharpen your brush and reload it every time you feel like you want to. Make this tree a little taller. There we go. Make him sharp at the top. And maybe some little land right down here. There we go. I'm going to get a clean brush. Use this 1-inch here. We're going to pull down the reflections this time with a separate brush. Just going to grab the little bottom bit of the color, and that didn't go anywhere because our canvas is dry as ever. If the canvas was really wet, that would smear a long ways. I let my canvas dry too much. So I'm just going to create like a representation with some smudges here. The shape, don't get too carried away. Grab it, push hard, see the brush bending, watch. Pull it down. And across. There we go. Beautiful. There's going to be some more land that cuts that off the same way that cut off the background. So don't worry about what's behind that. Like, oh, it's just a little island. And let's do another side real quick. Let's do another tree. Turn it towards me here. Maybe you'll be able to see this one a little better. So he's going to cut off the dirt there. So he's going to have to live right up into our mountain there. Pull that shape down, reload real quick. Make sure I got plenty of color. Yeah, just making the layers. Reload when you need to. Nice little tree. We're gonna have to give him a friend. Why? I don't know. I feel that's how I feel. Kind of smashing some color in at this point. A little land area. Some grassy things coming out there. There we go. There we go. And I'll just use this brush for the reflections because that's seeming to be necessary. There we go. Go back to my clean brush. Was clean. Double smear this. Pull it across. There we go. Now, we go to our brown. The dark cyan again. Ooh, see, that's way too big. If I put that on there, there'll be this huge area that big of dirt. So we don't want that. Wipe that off. Grab just a small, like that. There we go. Now, this one will smear a little bigger. Make it sharp out here at the edge, but have some dirt. And it's going to get a little lower towards the outside. A little lower towards the outside. I always feel weird about these tips out here. See, that just looks black at the moment, but it's actually the same brown color we're using in the back there. And when we blend it, nice. When we blend it, we will get blended with white. So we're going to grab a little bit of white. Touch, touch, touch. See, this is where angle makes a difference. If I come down to the left, you can even see that on the screen from a distance, but when you're up close in real life looking at it, it's stunning. There we go. Get my dirt. Happy little land areas. I think that's what Bob always called them. Happy little land areas. I'm liking this painting already. It's feeling deep, distant. My dad always asked me why I don't ever put these in the water. And it takes away from what's going on there right now. If there's huge, this is bigger than this area back here in the water. So it would be covering up this whole area and there'd just be white and blue and smear, and it's not as clean as that. So I like to imagine oftentimes the mountain is farther back away from this body of water, so that way it's not close enough to be reflecting in the lake itself. You have to hike for 2.5 hours back there to get to the mountain. All right, enough storytelling. Before we do highlights, I'm thinking we're just going to throw in some big land areas. And midnight black. It's almost even a purple color sometimes. It's so wet and oily. But let's put it right where our green was. Just a big pile. Some more sap green. Some more sap green. If you wanted a closer look, that was for you. Just green and black, maybe a little depression that we were working with. I'm gonna want to do like a big hanging over kind of tree. Maybe I should do water lines first. Yeah, take our knife back to our liquid white. See, this is the piles of, there's the green. Whoa, get this up in view there if I can figure out how to do it. There's the black, so you can kind of see the size of the rolls I lay out. Green, black, the browns up there. It's hard to judge sometimes when you're doing it by yourself. Anyways, all right, let's just gonna start mixing those together. I had to remember that I was gonna do liquid white. Yeah, and then scoop all of that up into one big roll on the knife. That's not a small roll either. Put that down there. Clean our knife off. Always have a paper towel handy. And like I was gonna do, liquid white. Water lines. Water lines. Water boy. Water sauce. Gatorade. That's a good movie. If you don't know the reference, then that's fine. If you do know the reference, leave it in the comments below. Let the other watchers know. There'll be a random comment. That's a movie title. I'll be like, what? Forget that I said to do it. Every now and then I like to just put some ripples like in the water. So it's like there's action going on. Water's moving around, having a good day. Start at the back here. We'll work our way up. Zen and the art of landscape painting. Kind of like Zen and the art of archery. Zen and the art of art. The Tao that can be named is not the eternal Tao, but the Tao that remains nameless. Is the true Tao. The Tao that can be named is the mother of the 10,000 things. Fascinating. Let me turn this towards you, give you a, oh yeah. Wow, look how bright the sun is over there. It's actually more this blue color. The whole thing is, it looks brighter over here because of the reflection from the sun. All right. Time is it? 43. Perfect. Perfect. Now, I think it's a good question. That's a good question. What are you gonna do? I'm gonna load the brush, same way I've been loading it, sharpen it up. Make a big old tree. You can pull it down like that or push it down to give them some bark variations, but he's gonna live to about there. Big old tree. Now, reload. I'm going left and right and doing kind of layers. Hold the table. Eventually you're pushing the whole brush. But obviously we need to reload. That's a spiky looking tree. Really not loving this tree. I never do. It's so weird. So hard to love your work. But then like a week later you're like, yes. See, he's gonna cover up our water there, so we're gonna be kind of careful with how much covering up our water we do. I made a trunk shape, but seriously just forget about that. It's gonna be some bushy things going on down here. Just fill it in with some dark color. And that's gonna go off right there, and we'll have some water lines under that. And we'll have to pull down some reflections. Try not to destroy all of our blues. There we go. Excellent. Excellent. Now we're going to touch up our grassy areas here. The darker you can get this first layer, the nicer. Grab some pure midnight black. The nicer your highlights will look when you finally put those on. There we go. Beautiful. I gotta fill in right here because you can see through there, and it looks like this tree is the only one. There's nothing back there, so I'm gonna not kill all the blue, but make it look like there's stuff going on enough where it seems realistic, you know. There's not just nothing back there. And then I'm gonna get some pure midnight black. Just do a couple of serious taps to kind of give the texture of the tree more importance. And see, now it looks like the tree goes whoosh because it's all flat right in there. Maybe I can show you that. And it's just too bright. Anyways, you'll know what I'm talking about if you're following along in painting. So I'm going to make the texture stick out further over here. And when we do the highlights, it'll, there we go. All right, now we're going to need some. We're going to need, we'll just do this side while we're at it. I'm going to take my 1-inch brush, pulling it through. So we're getting a bunch of paint on our 1-inch brush. This is scary when you don't do this a lot. Because it's like, whoa, I just grabbed like a whole massive pile. So then I'm going to mix them on the brush, the black and the green. Maybe some Prussian blue. See, I got a ton on this side and like none on that side. So I'm going to verticalize the brush verticalize it. And I'm going to tap it. Check it out. Tapping it. I'm going to stick to maybe using one side. So now that it's tapped, it's kind of more spread out evenly. And it's ready to create a shape. We're going to do a big, oh yeah, big old hanging in tree. See, we that quickly ran out of the thickness of paint that we want. So we're going to load up again, tap up again. I love doing these kind of trees. They're just so crazy. Okay, that one's a little thicker in there. And hanging in. I'm gonna have to get a stronger table on. That's the secret of life, though. You know, if you worry till things are perfect, you don't end up doing any of this. It's like, oh, I've been trying to get a perfect table for 10 years and I never painted. All right. Yeah, maybe turn the brush kind of on a side angle. Do some smashes like that. Yeah. There we go. Now, this is going to be really fun when we highlight it. I know that. Now I'm just spinning the brush in circles to get whatever kind of color I can. I'm assuming there's going to be some big old bushy things going on. Maybe. Reloading. Maybe it hangs out a little more right here. Again, kind of starting to. And then, this time instead of pulling it through on one side and tapping it, I'm going to turn it like this and pull the heel. Bend it. See that? Bend it, pull the heel straight. So that way you build your paint on the opposite side. So you pull it through and then flip it over and use the top where all the paint is, hopefully. And then we're going to take that to the canvas, push it on and up. And it makes that kind of a thing. The texture is wonderful when you have a thick enough load of paint on the brush. Ooh, we're going to go into the canvas here, apparently, or into the easel. Now, I'm just going to try to use all the paint I can. Maybe even grab a little brown here. Green, Prussian blue, just mixing everything. Brush it up. Now, I want to make the outline of these bushes extraordinary, so it blocks that off. See that? Boom. Load it one more time. Get a lot of green in this one. And that bush just grows like right there, and it blocks that background stuff off because it's thicker and darker. Right? Right? Yeah. First invitation. And see, it's whatever you want it to be. It looks like a hill at first, but you know, it's literally whatever you want it to be. Yeah. So you could have it go perfectly flat, or you could have it drop off down here. Blacken my easel. This ain't my favorite brush because the bristles, some of them are dried and messed up. See that? You see the thick ones in there? It's not preferred when you have that happen, so make sure to clean your brushes after you paint. I learned the lesson the hard way. Sometimes you gotta put your feet in the fire before you realize that that's not the best idea. Other times, all right, just gonna fill this in. This is gonna be some grassy areas. And that's how dry my canvas is. Should just smear all over. No problem. It looks cool sometimes with the light like that, but our highlights will help us. So I'm just gonna take all my paint on the knife. All the dark paint has come down to that. Of that whole area. We'll grab some more brown just to give us some more paint to work with. Flip that over, blend it together, lay it out flat, wipe off the knife, load the brush. Good load. And we're gonna make some grassy, maybe some bushy things. Thick and textury. That was real thick and textury. Spread the paint around. There we go. So one problem you can run into is when your dark paint is too wet. It's not thick and dry, kind of. When you go to add on your highlight colors, which we're about to do now, they won't stick. The dark colors will stick to the brush. And what's happening is the more thin or wet the paint is, it will stick to the drier paint. So we're going to use some of the liquid clear, just pure oil. See that? Just pure linseed oil. I've had this for 4 years, and that's how much I've used. Be very careful with that stuff. Yeah. We're going to want to finish up this painting here, so I think this is scary to even pour out. Almost. All right, I'll just do it. Just give in. I'm gonna pour it right. Woo! That's probably way too big of a pile. Show you what I got there. See, it's clear as it gets, but that is some oil, ladies and gentlemen. And what we're gonna do with that is first we're gonna get a fan brush. This is my highlight fan brush. And we're gonna check how dry our yellow is. Yeah, pretty dry. And we're gonna grab some of that oil and rub it through the yellow. Oil up our yellow over here. And it's going to get really thin, so kind of let the brush do some of the work here. Just grabbing that, and we'll see if oil. We'll see how this works. I'm practicing too, right? All right, we just got pure yellow now. I think we'll leave our background how it is, but and then just touch. And if this is wet enough, it'll come off the brush instead of the paint on the canvas. You can see right on the right side here, it's starting to pick up some of the dark from the canvas. I usually get it about halfway. It's hard to get the paint thick enough to where it actually sticks on. Oh yeah, there we go. So keep in mind my highlight's on the left side, so I should be highlighting this tree on the left side instead of the right. Now that I'm picking up the sap green, it's mixing with the yellow here on the palette and creating a green yellow. So that way we don't end up with too much of an issue. I think that's just fine. And if you get this going on, I'll just wipe that off on a paper towel to where it's back to kind of normal, and I'll load the yellow back over top of that. So otherwise, this pile ends up dark green, and your brush ends up ruined, and then you got to put out a whole new pile of yellow, and you go through 20 tubes of yellow before you do anything. Make our top of our tree a little yellow there. Get some thickness of the paint going here. Oh yeah. Another trick is to do the highlights where the blue is instead of on the black. I kind of like to mix them together. Try to keep. You see the black's just sticking right to the brush. That's because my pile of yellow is so dry, it's ridiculous. The viewers are like, we thought you put a whole bunch of oil on it. I'm slowly mixing it in. I didn't want to get crazy. Use my whole pile like I did just now. But screw it. There we go. I'll mix that all together. Let's see. Oh yeah. There you go. See, when you're willing to load it on the brush, it will also be willing to come off of the brush for you. So very few of my highlights are making it to the back side of that tree. Let's see if we can show you that there. But my brush has also turned black again. I'm gonna wipe that off. Reload it with yellow. And some canvases will be a lot friendlier than others. Like, see, I'm instantly getting a black brush. It really comes down to your knowledge of and practice of mixing the paints. You know how thick it is. See, when it's thick, it just comes off real easy. Or how you know, thick and wet. I don't know. Tough to describe, really. I like that though. That's kind of mystical. Then we'll make some little grassy things down here. So much oil on the brush, it's popping out of the top. See that? It's crazy. If I could push the brush all the way against the canvas, you know, see that little highlight? That's pure oil. Pure oil. But that is a secret. Sometimes the color gets all the way up and you gotta push real hard to get it to come out. This brush just about needs cleaned, if you ask me. But these last little highlights on. I want this particular painting to remain a bit darker. Why? Because that's what's happening. I'm going to mix some of the yellow into the water. Just be so careful when you do that. It sometimes does not turn out great. Make sure your brush is willing to work with you. Yeah, just kind of even it out. I think we'll give a huge pile of oil. I'll never use it all. It's ridiculous. Give this guy just here and there. Little trunk. Ding. And maybe this guy has a little trunk too. Yeah, there's one like right there. Who knows? Heck. Alright. That was with the brown. 1204. Almost time. You know what? We'll just add in our land area. Same way we did before. It's hitting the table. It's not quite so easy to. Ding. Maybe give that a bit more thickness to it. Sometimes the thickness is what makes it so wonderful. And paper towel is starting to get Here we go. If you need to add anything to your palette at any point, feel free. Feel free. Free as a bird. And then we'll highlight that little dirt. Grab just a touch of white. Ooh, got a little yellow in it too. Let's let that mix with our brown color. Yeah, there we go. Beautiful. Turn that back towards you. It looks so dark just because the sun's so bright on that side. I'll have a studio one day, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, we gotta finish this here. And we'll highlight this side just like we did over here, except I'm gonna need two things. I think maybe we'll use some yellow ochre, which is oily and wet itself already. Big pile there. And some more cad yellow. We got some bright red on the palette back here. And we'll be using those three to finish our scenery here. I didn't expect the sun would be so bright that it would be tough for the painting. Oh well. Oh well. All right, let's do this. Let's do this. It's important to have fun, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm loading some, just did a tiny tap of the oil, loading some cad yellow, and then some yellow ochre onto the same brush. Just layering them, trying to get a good amount of paint. It's probably not near enough. I know. I'm gonna let the brightest stuff be up here at the top though. Like, I'm just gonna Just barely touch, because it'll come right off the brush however it wants to. You reload again. Boom. I'm trying to do this on top of the branches here, so it looks like the shadows kind of owning these trees. So nice. It's crazy how it looks so different on the screen compared to in real life. That's the hard part I find when trying to sell them on Etsy or on clcoilpainting.com. You can't, the pictures you take, they're never like accurately representative of the real version of the painting. Like you can get, maybe I have to be a professional photographer about lighting and all that stuff. I mean, I know a little bit about lighting, but like, you know, there's like base knowledge and then there's high knowledge. See, it's thick enough. I'm loading enough paint on the brush, but the paint is also wet enough that this clob here on the end of the brush, all I gotta do is barely touch and it comes right off on its own. See, I love these layers. There's some yellows. Just smash them in there. Nice fall feel on this side. That's the yellow ochre. I'll show you what that's like. See, it's kind of a gold orangish. Gold orangish. Oh, and then right down here, be some orange, and then just bam, a little red mixed in that bush. Take our red with the knife, flip it over. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to finish up these little highlights here. That dark paint's dangerous. It'll eat up your whole brush right away. I'm going to try to keep it kind of dark down here. More like a grassy look. Yeah, look at what that did. Need that side. Yeah, I'm going to load a ton of ochre just because that's what we got going at the moment. Yeah, there's a bush down here at the bottom. Yeah, when I said a ton, I wasn't joking. That was a heck of a load of ochre. Here's this tree. You might be thinking, you forgot to highlight that back area. And at the moment, you're correct. Let's do that real quick. Maybe that tree will have a bit more of the ochre color going on. Start with the bushes down here since I got a thick chunk of the ochre on the brush. See, when the paint's wet, when it comes out of the tube, it sticks on so much easier like this. Get some color back over there, maybe. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. Alrighty. Try to highlight the left side of this guy more. It's alright. It's alright. hard to ever get it how you wanted it, really. So don't get upset with how it happens. Just let it happen. All right, smash that out. Wipe it off. We're gonna have to wash 4 brushes before. This has been really fun. I hope you enjoyed this. Hope you painted along a little bit, or maybe you'll go get yourself a little tabletop easel and a canvas and some Bob Ross paints. I'll have everything linked in the description below. As far as the Bob Ross painting sets. Oh, nice. That looks interesting. Maybe I need it to be more bushy. Yeah, there we go. Don't kill all your dark areas. Keep some blacks in there. Loads up the yellow ochre. Loads up the red. Yeah, our red bush right there. And last but not least, if it lets me, do this spot down here. If you got value, consider subscribing. Hit the like button. That helps the algorithm push this video to more people. And if you made it this far, I really appreciate you. Let's see, I got a Patreon. I got a website, clcoilpainting.com, Etsy shop. Both of those sell my paintings. Got a Teespring where I sell hoodies. All kinds of stuff, ladies and gentlemen. I'll have stuff in the description below. But until then, until the future, thank you so much, and keep painting. Maybe I can turn this so you can see different angles of it. It was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed that one. All right. Oh yeah, if you're on the channel, up on the channel header, over in the corner there's links to Facebook, Instagram, the Patreon, the website, and other things. So I'll have a picture of this and even lighting posted on Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff. But thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Love you. We'll be back in the future. Boom. Another painting.